Hours before she faces one of the toughest political battles of her life, Mamata Banerjee has gone ahead and publicly declared her Gotra. After the Chandipath and the temple run, Didi has now mentioned a Hindu lineage. Mamata's declaration prompted the BJP and Asad Owaisi to call her desperate. Has the Bengal Chief Minister been forced into a counter after the BJP's appeasement taunts? She's positioning herself publicly as a Hindu. Will this work? Will this help prevent polarization of the electorate along Hindu-Muslim lines? Here is our lead story tonight.
ঠাকুর মশাই ঠাকুর মন্দিরের ছবি নিয়ে দাঁড়িয়েছিলেন, পুজো নিয়ে দাঁড়িয়েছিলেন। তো আমাকে জিজ্ঞেস করছিলেন, মা তোমার গোত্রটা বলবে? আমি বলে ফেলেছিলাম মা মাটি মানুষ গোত্র। আজকেও তিনি যখন আমায় জিজ্ঞেস করলেন, আমি বললাম দেখুন আমার তো একটা পার্সোনাল গোত্র আছে, সেটা সান্ডিল্য, কিন্তু আমি মনে করি আমার গোত্র মা মাটি মানুষ গোত্র। আমার পুজোয় যদি মানুষের ভালো হয় সেই পুজোটাই আমি দিই।
Mamata Banerjee ending her Nandigram campaign by playing the Gotra cards, declaring that she is a Shandilya. As the curtains fell on the final leg of a bruising battle in her Karm Bhumi, where she is pitted in a high-octane battle against her former confidant Suvendu Adhikari, Mamata triggered a fresh flashpoint by this Gotra sign-off.
আজকেও তিনি যখন আমায় জিজ্ঞেস করলেন, আমি বললাম দেখুন আমার তো একটা পার্সোনাল গোত্র আছে, সেটা সান্ডিল্য।
From Maa Maati Manush all the way to explicitly declaring her lineage in Hindu culture, what compelled this unusual move from Didi? First off, the answer may lie in some of the reactions that have already come in. First, from AIMIM chief Asaduddin Owaisi.
She's practicing same politics of communalism which is being practiced by Narendra Modi and BJP. I don't find any difference between what she's saying in this election and in her own election campaign and what BJP is doing. So Mamata Banerjee and Narendra Modi are made for each other.
Owaisi's barb likens Mamata to Rahul Gandhi, who famously had his team declare that he is a Janeudhari Hindu back in 2017. But Didi is also under attack from her primary challenger.
मोदी जी के डर से आपने गोत्र तो बता दिया, लेकिन आज तक आपने सांडिल गोत्र वालों को इतना तंग और तबाह क्यों किया? जब प्रथम चरण में उनकी जमीन खिसक गई तब उनको समझ में।
Mamata's Gotra declaration is the soaring climax to a steady script she's been playing to on the political battlefield to counter the BJP's Hindu nationalist politics. It began with her declaration of being a Durga Bhakt.
राम किसको पूजा किया था? दुर्गा पूजा किया था। हम दुर्गा पूजा करते हैं।
Then she chanted mantras from the Nandigram stage. Then she went on a non-stop temple hop. Then she declared her Hinduism once again explicitly.
I am also Hindu. I will not take certificate from BJP that I am Hindu A or I am Hindu B or I am Hindu C or I am Hindu D or I am Hindu Z. I am Hindu, I am also Hindu.
Then she stood up from her wheelchair for the national anthem. And now finally the declaration of her Gotra.
আজকেও তিনি যখন আমায় জিজ্ঞেস করলেন, আমি বললাম দেখুন আমার তো একটা পার্সোনাল গোত্র আছে, সেটা সান্ডিল্য।
The battlefield is set. All weapons have been fired. Nandigram goes to the vote on Thursday. But Mamata's message will also be for the 6 phases that follow. With Polomi Saha in Nandigram, Bureau Report, India Today.
You know, why is Mamata Banerjee having to publicly declare her Hindu lineage? Is this a sign of nervousness? Joining me on this broadcast, representing the ruling Trinamool Congress in West Bengal, its spokesperson Riju Datta squaring off against him, representing the ruling Bharatiya Janata Party and the TMC's principal challenger Gaurav Bhatia. With us for a perspective from the AIMIM, that's Asaduddin Owaisi's party, we have Waris Pathan, its national spokesperson. For two different contrarian political perspectives, I have once again Jayanto Ghoshal and Kanchan Gupta. I want to go across first and foremost to Riju Datta to explain to our viewers who'd wonder why right ahead of the big battle of Nandigram, Mamata Banerjee has to publicly declare her Hindu lineage. First she recited the Chandipat, now she's going out and telling us that she's from the Shandilya Gotra and that she's a upper caste Brahmin. Why does she need to go out and announce this? Is this being done under pressure from the Bharatiya Janata Party?
What pressure, Raj? See, I'll start off by saying that, when you talk about Nandigram, just small news from Nandigram, TMC is winning Bengal and Mamata Banerjee is winning Nandigram and she's winning big in Nandigram. Now, coming back to the narrative of the debate regarding Mamata Banerjee's Gotra, I just want to know that BJP, when they started their campaign in Bengal, they had no agenda, neither they have a faith. They have only one agenda, that was religious polarization. Now, what Mamata Banerjee has done post that, Mamata Banerjee has gone to every state, chanted the Durga mantra, Chandipat, and in the same breath, she read the Kalma. And she has affirmed that Ishwar and Allah is one. So they have lost all footing. Now, if a person who's born Hindu, if she shares the personal information, it's because BJP ko jo kehte hain hum log ki mirchi lag gayi hai, because now they have no platform to stand on. And last but not the least, my another question to them is, when you have nothing to talk about development or good governance, why are you stooping so low about the Gotra of a particular person? The moral of the story, Mr. Kanwal, is that this party, the National Party, is the original Tukre gang who wants to divide this country into small pieces on base of party.
Okay, so Gaurav Bhatia, Riju Datta says BJP ko mirchi lag gayi hai, she's declaring her Gotra, and what's wrong with it? She's also talking about development, she's reaching out to different communities. It's not as if she's focusing just on the Hindu community, unlike you, and therefore what's the BJP's problem if she publicly announces a Hindu lineage? Gaurav Bhatia.
Rahul, I just heard Mamata Banerjee's statement when she said that I would not take a certificate from the BJP that I am a Hindu. Very rightly said. We are nobody to issue any certificate that one is a Hindu or not. But who is she or the Congress to issue certificates of secularism then? Is that not a valid question? And let me now just give you the backdrop. This is the same Mamata Banerjee who had not even cared for the sentiments of the Hindus, and thrice, not once, not twice, thrice, the Kolkata High Court reprimanded the Mamata Banerjee government and allowed the idol immersion of Durga Mata. And now let's join the dots and the inference would be clear. The seat was changed from Bhawanipur to Nandigram. Why? It was a bastion of Mamata Banerjee for 3 decades. Then starts the Chandipat. You remember the famous picture of Mamata Banerjee offering namaz, her head covered, and now Chandipat. Third, she started blaming the Election Commission of India and the EVMs also. Then 3 days, she was stationed in
Nandigram, though she is the head of the party and a chief minister herself. She is not concentrating on any other constituency. Then she is calling BJP workers like Pranay Pal, please come to my rescue, help me. And last but not the least.
We'll come to that.
Last but not the least, let me complete myself. Now she is saying, Mera Gotra ye hai. So I just want to say it is evident and the inference can be drawn that she knows she has not just lost Nandigram, she has also lost West Bengal. And that is why she is playing this communal card.
Jayanto Ghoshal, the BJP argues that this is a sign of anxiety, of Mamata Banerjee being nervous. You understand her mind and her politics well. She's never done this in the past. Why does the Chief Minister, just before the biggest political battle of her life, need to publicly declare her Brahmin Gotra, announce that she's from the Shandilya Gotra? Why do you think she's doing this, and is she nervous?
Thank you, Rahul. I just want to mention 3 points. Number one, I am not disagreeing broadly with Gaurav. Gaurav is a very good friend of mine. And what he is saying, he has a logic from the BJP's perspective. But I want to say 3 things. Number one, Suvendu Adhikari is also desperate to make the Nandigram election highly polarized because he is saying Begum Mamata. So it's a reply to the Begum Mamata's, allegation that she is Muslim. She is appeasing Muslim. So now you can say that Mamata is replying Suvendu's narrative, like BJP is also replying the Bengali identity narratives of Mamata. In election, you should not be shy to reply also, because it's an open fight. If you shy, if you don't reply, so it's a tit for tat and election, and this election is highly hyper election. So everything, but number 2 point is that she has said few more things with that. I think the translation is also important. She said in Bengali that earlier one priest asked her that what is your Gotra? I said that Maa Maati Manush, but I have a Gotra by birth, that is this Gotra, but still I think my Gotra for humanism, Maa Maati Manush. So actually cleverly she is giving reply that intelligent move of Suvendu Adhikari, because it's not rocket science. That my third point is, today I am in Nandigram incidentally, and I am fortunate that today I am telling my Anubhav, my experience of Nandigram, that Muslim and Hindu, yesterday Rahul, you have shown the statistics of Nandigram part 1 and part 2. So the Muslim dominated area, they will not vote for BJP. Siddiqui has not given any Muslim candidate. There is, CPM also has put Hindu woman candidate, although there is a left traditional vote with Muslim voters, because Muslim leader used to win from the left in Nandigram historically. So now if the Hindu vote is the majority vote, if it is divided, Mamata doesn't want that this Hindu vote should not be consolidated 100% with Suvendu, and Suvendu wants it because she will not get the Muslim vote. So it's a tug of war, and Mamata is trying to get a major chunk of Hindu vote. And yesterday also I was telling Rahul that the Holi festival, she was performing the Vaishnavite Kirtan musical performance, although it's a very spiritual Muslim day, and she didn't perform any Muslim rituals. So this is the 3 points I think.
So Kanchan Gupta,
thank you.
Jayanto Ghoshal's counter is that this is actually smart strategy on the part of the West Bengal Chief Minister, and a counter to Suvendu constantly calling her Begum Mamata. She says, no, not just am I not Begum Mamata, I'm actually from one of the purest Hindu Gotras. I come from the Shandilya Gotra, and therefore don't doubt my Hinduness. And what she's hoping to do is prevent a polarization along religious lines. Do you think it will work? What are you making of this, Kanchan Gupta?
Well, every day I am told that Mamata is the smartest, the brightest, and nothing that she ever does or says is anything less than smartness personified. So I really don't want to get into responding to what people say. But Rahul, let me also tell you that the same Mamata Banerjee, not many days ago, when she was addressing a largely Muslim audience during one of her many election rallies, she said, Allah Ta'ala, may Allah Ta'ala keep you all very well, etc., etc., and then very perfunctorily adds, Dol Mubarak. Now, that was the first time that I at least came across somebody wishing Bengalis Dol Mubarak on the occasion of Holi. It is called Dol Jatra in Bangla. And then suddenly she is reminded that when she is in Nandigram, she can't afford to sort of alienate the Hindu voters of Nandigram, and therefore she discovers that she is a Chandelier. I wish she had also said that as a Bengali Brahmin, I actually am also an outsider in this state because my ancestors came from Kannauj in Uttar Pradesh, in the Hindi heartland. Now, we can continue, we can go on and on and on about it, but what is really of some notice here is the ease with which, it's chameleon ease, with which she switches roles as a secular, and for her, in her case, secular means being rank communal, and then become a Hindu politician. And then when she says that I'm a Chandelier, I'm a Brahmin, and she says that she goes to a temple And as someone pointed out over here, that she spent Holi with Vaishnav Kirtaniyas. I wonder if she also wished them Dol Mubarak.
Okay. Varis Pathan, you're upset with Mamata Banerjee for coming out and publicly declaring that she's from the Shandilya Gotra. What exactly are the problems of the AIMIM and why is it that you're averse to such politics? Varis Pathan.
Well, Rahul, first and foremost, I condemn the statement made by Mamata Banerjee, wherein she calls that her Gotra is Shandilya. This is playing majoritarian politics. This is against the secularism and pluralism of the great nation. And this is nothing but appeasement politics for the upper caste and the Brahmins. Now, let me tell you, Rahul, there are 27% Muslims in West Bengal. There are 22% Dalits in West Bengal. What about them? They don't have any Varna. So where will they go? Now, if you are so much worried of appeasement politics for the majority, then why do you ask votes for the Muslims? What is the difference between Mamata Banerjee and BJP? They both are the two sides of the same coin. Now it is declared before the entire nation knows. Because BJP is playing the politics of polarization, BJP is playing the divisive politics, BJP is into communalizing politics, and again the BJP has also used Pakistan for their political gains. Yesterday only that statement was made by taking the name of Pakistan. So there is no difference left between Mamata and the BJP. Now why they want to appease? Because they don't have any other agenda other than the development. What development have they done? Now when Mamata, the frustration is there in her. Let me tell you, Rahul, since the day OAC said that we will be contesting election in West Bengal, since that day she has started saying B team, C team, D team. But then we are a political party. We have a right as much as Mamata Didi has a right to contest elections. And the love and affection of the people is very much evident.
Riju Datta, are you taking the Muslim vote for granted?
It's about let me finish, Rahul.
Yes.
And here we will be there as an option to the people of West Bengal, Rahul. Let me just make one quick point, Rahul. Here the thing is the people earlier did not have any options. Now they see AIMIM as a better option than the TMC on one side and the BJP on the other side, and we will be gaining good vote. But here the majoritarian politics, the polarization politics, the divisive politics and the politics of appeasement won't work around. See, Mamata Didi first called the RSS as Desh Premis. For 1% of their support to make a Bengal good Bengal, she called the RSS Desh. And in 2002 program of Gujarat, when the entire nation criticized, Mamata Didi voted for the BJP in the Lok Sabha. So she is a part of the BJP.
Okay. So,
she and the BJP are not
so Riju Datta, respond to the point that the AIMIM makes, that what's the difference between the BJP and Mamata Banerjee? You're also leaving aside the 27 plus 29 Muslim and Dalit voters. You're also focusing on the Hindu majority, and therefore you and the BJP are two sides of the same coin. Riju Datta.
Mr. Kanwal, I want to say that the inclusive aspect in our political ideology is an article of faith for us. Now, let me remind the viewers and Mr. Varis Pathan also, all the Muslim communities have been included in the OBC. All, irrespective of caste, creed and color, everybody gets scholarship. All the minority communities get scholarship, and they have specific universities also to study and empower themselves. But it is very rich coming from the spokesperson of a party whose name itself is communal, and it is for a specific faith. But I will like to point out here that AIMI and BJP are the two sides of the same coin, and nothing but political representations of a religion. And the bottom line is, when AIMI talk about their representation, I will also remind you, Mr. Kanwal and the viewers, that when Asauddin Owaisi Saab came to Bengal and he wanted to tie up with us, Abbas Siddiqui, their so-called Muslim brother, he rejected them and joined hands with Congress and CPM. So you do not have any brotherhood,
okay.
no cadre-based.
So meanwhile, security has been beefed up in Nandigram ahead of the big elections. Prohibitory orders are in place, and 22 companies of central forces have been deployed on the ground. Both Mamata Banerjee and Suvendu Adhikari will be camping in the constituency throughout the day. So will it be Didi or Dada? Nandigram decides tomorrow.
The stage is set for the biggest battle. It is a make or break fight for Bengal ki beti and Nandigram ka beta. West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee will be camping in her Karma Bhumi on April 1st. as the district casts its vote in the second phase of polling. With only hours left for voting, Didi lashed out at her rivals, alleging bid to target the elections.
Yes, yesterday night, the outsiders goons, they threatened the people, especially Gokul Nagar, then Ball, and then there are some areas in Bollywood and other areas. But we are already taking up the matter with the election commission. Let us hope that Nandigram must be allowed for free and fair election.
The BJP is upbeat. It claims Mamata is losing her ground.
सुवेंदु दादा जीतेंगे, ममता जी का हार निश्चित है, एक तरफा फैसला है, नंदीग्राम की जनता ने सुवेंदु जी को चुनना तय कर लिया है.
Nandigram over the past few days witnessed a stunning blitz as big guns from both parties hit the streets to woo voters. Of all the seats in Bengal, this is the one seat the whole nation has its eyes on. There is high security in the area. 22 companies of central forces, 22 quick response teams and 3 observers are deployed. The whole show will be run and monitored from 10 sector offices. Webcams are installed in 75% of the 355 sensitive polling stations. On Thursday, the people of Nandigram will choose between Mamata Banerjee and her former general, Suvendu Adhikari. Will it be Didi or Dada for Nandigram?
Clearly, the Election Commission does not want to leave any stone unturned to make this a peaceful election. The big question, of course, is will the elections at Nandigram be incident-free? With camera person Tapas Baidi in Nandigram, Indrajit for India Today.
You know, in the midst of all of this, Mamata Banerjee has put out a letter reaching out to key opposition leaders just a day ahead of polling in Nandigram, in which she is asking these 15 non-BJP leaders to unite against the BJP to save Indian democracy. In her 3-page letter, Mamata Banerjee writes that the BJP has been trying to establish an authoritarian regime. Moreover, Mamata said that the BJP has been attacking India's federal structure and has been making a mockery of the spirit of democracy. Mamata has written this letter to Sonia Gandhi, Sharad Pawar, M.K. Stalin, Tejaswi Yadav, Uddhav Thackeray, Arvind Kejriwal, Farooq Abdullah, Mehbooba Mufti amongst others, asking them to chart a plan of action to provide a credible alternative to the people of India. Jayanto Ghoshal, this 3-page letter, just a day ahead of the Nandigram elections, you know, if this had come, say, post the 2nd of May, it would have made sense, depending on whether she wins or loses. Why do you think Mamata Banerjee, ahead of her own big election, is sending out this message to opposition parties? How are you reading this?
Again, thank you, Rahul. I just want to say 2 things. Number one, again and again I'm saying that I have not seen this sort of election in West Bengal. I am covering West Bengal elections since 1984 when Mamata Banerjee defeated Somnath Banerjee. But today, BJP is achiever. It goes without saying. BJP has become the main opposition. BJP is aggressive. Narendra Modi ji and Amit Shah ji, they know how to handle an election. Mehnat karte hain. They know the strategy. And now in Nandigram, today I am in Nandigram, I am telling you, this sort of hyper election, and Suvendu is not only a single character, individual. Amit Shah, when he arrived here, he hugged him, he is giving a message. So it's a completely, the media perception and the overall, the penetration to the people, strong anti-incumbency for the last 10 years, lot of issues, and BJP has successfully developed those issues in the campaign. Now, what Mamata Banerjee is doing, it's a preemptive move before the election day to make an issue, to give her voters, the loyalist voters, the floating voters, to give this message that there is something wrong. So again and again, each and every day, sometimes on paramilitary forces, sometimes the outsiders, miscreants, sometimes, so these are the issues. Politically, I think it's a strategy of Mamata Banerjee to make aware the people of Nandigram, because you know this Nandigram is not only Nandigram. When Amit Shah ji is saying that 200 seats we will get, and in Nandigram this seats, the other votes, other constituency from North Bengal to Sundarban, everybody is watching, and the perception they are building. So and so many leaders, half a dozen of ministers.
So Kanchan Gupta, why do you think she sent out this letter a day ahead of the Nandigram battle? Mamata Banerjee reaching out to non-BJP leaders in the middle of an assembly election. What do you make of this, Kanchan Gupta?
Rahul, you know, before I come to this point, just now on your show, something which is very distressing was said, that it is the BJP which raised the issue of Pakistan. The BJP did not. It was Mamata Banerjee and her party which raised the issue of Pakistan. One of her very able and very smart leaders tried to pull a fast one, and he said that the Muslims in West Bengal can create 10 or more Pakistans. She never condemned it. So the BJP reacted to that statement. That I think, you know, it is important that such clarifications should be put out on a live show. Number one. Number two, coming back to Nandigram, look, I mean, it is so very evident that Mamata Banerjee is stressed. She is worried. She is extremely worried, and her nervousness is showing. Had she been supremely confident of winning Nandigram, she would not have had to take recourse to theatrical demonstrations of allegiance to Hinduism, of allegiance to the people of Nandigram, of trying to sell them a sob story, you know, sentiments don't play in elections like this. This is a very cruel election. In this election, people are being called upon to reject something wholesale, and over here to try and sell them a sob story. I doubt if that is going to work.
Okay, Gaurav Bhatia, it's interesting because you usually don't see this in the middle of an assembly election. She's making a pitch of the kind that you typically see before a Lok Sabha election, that opposition parties must unite and that they must come together. Mamata Banerjee, a rather interesting move, putting out this letter asking for support against the BJP's supposed attempt to throttle Indian democracy.
Rahul, taking it forward from where we left, and the first segment, I just wanted to add something, that after 10 years of being the incumbent party and a chief minister, she doesn't even have 10 things in terms of development that she has done in West Bengal to take forward to the people of West Bengal. And people in West Bengal today are asking, why did she deprive 75 lakh farmers from Pradhan Mantri Kisan Samman Nidhi? This writing of letter, what does it reflect? It again reflects that Mamata Banerjee is very nervous and jittery, and therefore she is indulging in such theatrics. And the words she has used, I was going through the letter, she says that the central government is attacking the federal structure of our democracy. It's an assault on our democracy. Let me say it very clearly, that our democracy is very vibrant, very strong. Nobody can attack it. Rather, an attack on our democracy is when she attacks the constitutional position holders like the Prime Minister, Election Commission of India, the Governor. An attack is when she says if NRC is implemented under the Supreme Court order, there would be a civil war in India. And I will tell you one thing, that even the women of West Bengal, they feel let down by the governance that Mamata Banerjee has provided them. And very recently, Shobha Majumdar's family is still waiting for justice. Would Mamata Banerjee tell the family her Gotra? That is the point. Will Gotra solve all the problems of West Bengal?
Riju Datta, first she puts out a Gotra, then she's sending out this letter seeking support in the middle of an assembly election, asking non-BJP parties to unite. The BJP argues again that this is a sign of anxiety, nervousness, and Mamata possibly fearing defeat.
No, Mr. Kanwal, let me tell you that it is very unfortunate that the people of this country, based on religion and the fake narrative sold by the BJP, has unfortunately elected an autocratic government. Let me make it very clear. And the other thing I want to talk about is that these so-called Hindu lovers, when they talk about Mamata Banerjee objecting to NRC, then why are 17 lakh Hindus in detention camp in Assam in the name of NRC? Let them explain that also. And they talk about Kisan Nidhi. Why are Kisans still on the roads? Nobody has the courtesy. People come wearing white kurtas and come on national channel. If you look very closely, these white kurtas are marred and littered with the blood spots of the Kisans who have died at this border, and all the people who have given their life during the corona crisis. They couldn't pay for the train tickets, but they have chartered flights to take turncoats of Trinamool to join in Delhi. So, the masks are off, the gloves are off. People see through this narrative. They have no agenda, and it is high time that Mamata Banerjee is standing against this draconian government, and she is asking all the opposition to unite together, who have already given their support to Mamata Banerjee before, that this election is not about Bengal. This election is about protecting the democracy and the constitution of this country. And going forward into 2024, once secondly the Bengal election results are out, it will break the backbone of BJP going into the next
Waris Pathan, very briefly, quick comments from you on Mamata Banerjee's outreach to non-opposition parties, asking them to unite. Interesting, not just that she's made this overture, but she's done it a day before Nandigram votes.
Well, Mamata Didi is very much frustrated, I think so, Rahul, because she is blaming our party as well. She started blaming, rather than introspecting within herself that why her party senior leaders have left her and joined the BJP. She is calling us names and BJP B team and C team. We never contested the MP elections when BJP won the 18 MPs. So rather than introspecting within herself, she is blaming others. But the people of Bengal, Rahul, I've been there and I know they want development which she could not give to the minorities especially. Because today also we have got a data which shows that 80% of the Muslims are earning less than rupees 5,000 per month. And on the other side, BJP has stood to such a level that they started humiliating and insulting our women of the country. When they called, see, whatever political difference we might be having in Mamata Didi, yeah, we are contesting against us. We are contesting against her in Bengal. That will remain forever. But calling her saying that, why do you wear sari, why don't you wear Bermuda? Is this ethics? Sari is a culture part of our Indian tradition. You want her to leave the sari and you want her to wear a Bermuda short. Is this not condemnable statement? But the BJP spokesperson will never condemn because they don't respect the women. The very same day, Nitish's man lathi charge lady female MLAs in the Bihar Assembly. So here what we saw in the entire West Bengal election is that Rahul, BJP stood to such a level that they don't care for the women of our country. They just say beti bachao, beti padhao.
So Gaurav Bhatia, I'm going to give you 20 seconds to respond. But before I end, I want to show our viewers what Mamata Banerjee and Suvendu Adhikari had to say. 20 seconds, Gaurav Bhatia.
You know, Waris Pathan and Mamata Banerjee are actually having a fixed match. And don't forget the infamous words of Mamata Banerjee. बीजेपी को हिंदू का वोट मिलेगा, असदुद्दीन ओवैसी को मुसलमान का वोट मिलेगा, मैं क्या केला खाऊंगी, ये बोल रहे थे. And coming from a spokesperson who had to apologize just because he chanted Ganpati Bappa Moria. So it clearly shows for them secularism is a convenient tool to fulfill their lust for power. And this election is going to be an election of development. Please, Waris bhai, beach mein nahi. This election is about issues. This election is about throwing Mamata Banerjee off her chair that she feels is a birthright. And this election is about Poribortan.
India Today is the only channel that actually spent quality time with both Mamata Banerjee and Suvendu Adhikari. Here are these two big political leaders of West Bengal locking horns on a range of issues right ahead of polling day.
सबसे पहले आप खुद हिंदू हैं, आप हिंदू रीति रिवाज मानती हैं, लेकिन हिंदुत्व का इशू इस इलेक्शन में उठाया जा रहा है और ये चार्ज लग रहा है आप पे कि जो जय श्री राम का स्लोगन है उससे किसी तरीके से आपको परहेज है. आप ये जो चार्ज,
देखिए हमने बोला हर धर्म का अपन का राय है, इसको हम इज्जत करते हैं, लेकिन हम जब फेस्टिवल करते हैं यूनिवर्सल होता है। रिलीजियन इज पर्सनल एंड फेस्टिवल इज यूनिवर्सल, तो इसी के लिए ये बात ठीक नहीं है।
उन्होंने जो कर रहा है वो तो गलत से मंत्र पाठ। देखिए हिंदू लोग बहुत सहनशील हैं, हम लोग गीता को मानते हुए चलते हैं। एक कौन उसकी कैसे अधिकार कौन दिया? गलत सरस्वती देवी का मंत्र, चंडी माता की मंत्र गलत, अब मिला लीजिए क्या है।
और जय श्री राम वो कहते हैं, हम तो जय सिया राम कहते हैं। जय सिया राम मीन्स सीता एंड राम। अब पहले तो देखो क्या कौन झूठा बोलता है कौन सच बोलता है। आप लोग जो झूठा बोलता है उसका सब कौवा बोले, क्या वो है ना, कौवा बोले, बोलो
झूठ बोले
कौवा काटे, वही होता है। छुपा रुस्तम का माफिक कुछ बोल के चला जाता है, आप लोग वही कौवा का माफिक छूटते हैं।
जो कलमा है कुरान शरीफ का वो भी पाठ कर रहा है, वो सही। जो इस्लामिक कलमा है उसकी गलतफहमी नहीं हो रहा है, इसलिए हम लोग तो सही बात सही बोल रहा हूँ। जे ममता बनर्जी बेगम है।
शेष हो गए। Bengal all set for phase 2. Biggest Bangla prestige battle. From the defender chief minister,
the home minister is insisting the election commission through some central forces. So many central forces given only to support the BJP.
To the thundering challenger.
जनता के सामने कोई मुख्यमंत्री नहीं होता, जनता मुख्यमंत्री बनाती है, बिगाड़ती है।
Locked, loaded and loud. Join Bengal's best reporting team all day on April the 1st on India Today.